lifetime, I have loved many things. 3 things have always been a part of my lifetime and things that I loved. One of them is cheese. One of my dreams of life is to eat my way through the Hy-Vee cheese desk. I'm about a third of the way through. Give me some more time. Only lived here 3 years. The second thing is the Green Bay Packers. Not directly related to the first thing, but they are related in a little bit, that I grew up in Wisconsin. And the third thing is the third thing that I've always loved is Aerostar vans, which is not necessarily a thing that everyone loves. In high school, when they asked us, what's your ideal dream car, people had these beautiful cars. They were talking about the 62 GT Shelby. Something, that's a car, right? That sounds like something I heard in one of the...
It's close.
Yeah, something like that, right? Corvettes and Mustangs. No, I wanted a pimped out Ford Aerostar van with the hydraulics and the boom and bass in the back. Because Aerostar vans is what I grew up with. By the time I came along, we couldn't have Toyota Corollas in my family anymore because there was too many kids to fit into a Toyota Corolla, because there was me and my little brother 3 years later. Hard to fit all those kids into a Toyota Corolla. Not impossible, because those were the times when my parents still didn't make us wear seat belts or anything, so you could fit a lot of kids in that back bench seat. But it was a lot easier once we had all our stuff to get into the Ford Aerostar van. So I have these beautiful memories of my childhood in the red Ford Aerostar van with the what I'm sure was black at one point, but it faded to that like tattoo green color, striping on the side. We'd ride in that van up to my grandma's cabin, Nana and Pepe's cabin, and we'd go dig worms and catch sunfish that were smaller than the bait we used, and we'd keep all of them, so there's never any fish left because we caught all the little baby ones and never put them back. So that was the van we'd drive up there. And then when that van had holes from the rust on the side big enough to put your foot through, then we got a new one. And by new, I mean somebody else had owned it first, but it was very new to us, this beautiful white van. And at that point, my older siblings had graduated and gone off to college, so they'd take out the back seat, because those are the kind where you take the seat out of the back and you lay this sleeping bag down, so when you go on a trip somewhere, like when we went out to the Black Hills, you lay that back there, and then the kids play on the floor in the back with a seat between them and the parents, so the parents don't have to listen to them fighting and bickering, and the kids don't have to sit in the seat, because, you know, seat belts, who needs them in the 1990s? After that, we got a green Ford Aerostar van, and that was the most choice of the Aerostars that we ever had. That had been owned by a deacon, so it was very, very well taken care of at the time. But what made this one so special is it was one of the XL Pro ones. So the extra 4 feet of space in the back, so we could put that much more stuff in it. Every one of our Ford Aerostar vans traveled with us on vacations. They always had hitches. They were always these great vans that we could travel with. I mean, it wasn't like the fancy things my cousins would travel with. They traveled a lot, so their parents got one of the TVs that plugged into the cigarette lighter so they could watch TV instead of make artwork, and I felt like a chump when I found out that you could do that. They were watching their VHS tapes and just having a grand old time. I'm like, I want to draw a picture over here, I guess. Anyway, I wasn't better. But, you know, so this was the van we traveled with, and when we upgraded to this green van, I got my first van. It was the white Aerostar van of my childhood. I was in love with this thing. I had so many great memories because I started to build my own memories in this van. Like the time we were coming back from parade and I was in the percussion section, we fit the entire percussion section and their instruments into the Ford Aerostar van. That's one of my favorite memories of high school. Thankfully I don't have a photo of that because then I can't be arrested for it. As I became a parent, I knew that eventually I was going to enter van life because I love vans. You can help people move, you have a lot of space, you can do what you need to do. We had our first kid, and we were just out of grad school, so we kind of stuck with our cars, a little, you know, Honda Civic and Ford Taurus or whatever we had at the time. But once I got pregnant with twins, I knew that we were going to not have enough space for all 3 of the car seats in these cars, so we upgraded. We knew we had to go out van shopping, and I was not looking forward to it because shopping for cars is a really stressful thing for me. I never know if I'm going to meet Mr. Wormwood from the book Matilda, who's going to sell me a lemon. It's going to be like a terrible car. He's going to put like sawdust in it or something to make it seem like it's a better car than it is. I'm always really nervous about it. But we got this great van. And the moment I saw this van, I knew that it was going to be the one. Because it was this beautiful van. It had 2 features that I knew I had to have in my mom's van. One of the features was a built-in DVD player. Which I was like, you know what, cousins? I got one now too. What up? I made it now. You know, so I was really excited about this built-in DVD player because basically A built-in DVD player is like having a never-ending supply of gummy snacks for children. It's like, you get to watch a movie, and you get to watch a movie, and you get to watch a movie. Everybody watches movies the entire time, and you forget that you're in the car for so long. The other thing that this vehicle had that I absolutely loved was the stow-and-go seats. Oh, I love stow-and-go seats so much. No more about like trying to get underneath there and you're all sweaty and you're trying to pull the seat out and you gotta take it out and put it in the garage and then you bend something so you gotta take it to whatever and then somebody else's van craps out so you take their seat because if yours ever gets wrecked then you have another one for yours. You have all these like random seats just hanging out all over the place. None of that. No. Now you have these stow-and-go seats. You can put them away and you can take them out, and when you take them out then you've got extra storage space, and I love storage space because I've got 3 kids, 4 and under, so I've got a lot of crap that I have to bring with me everywhere. I've got to have like this little like diaper secrets, like this super secret diaper stash because I never remember to bring up diapers. There's always some poop in themselves. Anyway, so I have these stow-and-go seats, I have this DVD player, and it's just wonderful, and everything comes together perfectly for me then. Just this last week, we decided to take a trip to Memphis, Tennessee. This trip had been many months in the making. My partner's family or my partner's parents live down in Memphis, and for the last 4 years we haven't been able to get all together as a family because his sister had a baby, and we had babies, and his sister got sick when we were supposed to get together, so just, we haven't seen each other. We haven't met her kids, she hasn't met our kids, the other aunts and uncles have met them, but it's not, we haven't all been together in the same place, so we're gonna take this big family trip. The idea of flying with 3 children, 4 and under, sounded horrendous, so we decided to take a 14-hour trip on our own. This was a time when we stole our seats, and the video screens were going to be very helpful because, like I said, kids 4 and under need a lot of crap. Things like lots of toys to keep them busy, because a 14-hour trip, you're not just going to have a kid watch 14 hours worth of movies. Like, they're good, but they're not that good. So we had to take all these little, we asked all our friends for all the little McDonald's toys that they had. We said, do you have any junk toys you want to get rid of? Because every 15 minutes then I could give the kids a new junk toy. I'm like, what's this? This is brand new. I'm excited. I have a new toy. That's fun. And then in between the new toys, we would do this very meticulously packed snack bags. So I got every kind of snack imaginable they could do. And I split them into 3 bags each, and I'd staple the little bags together because I don't want to have one kid get the jerky, the other kid's crying because I can't find the other bag of jerky. So I have all this stuff, all very clearly, meticulously laid out. We laid out the plans, we laid out everything to make sure that this trip was going to go absolutely spectacularly because we were really excited to go see this family, and we were very excited to travel there in our van. So the day comes, and we have something in the morning we need to go to, but we leave around noon. And we're going to be driving from Marshall, Minnesota to St. Louis on the first day. It's the first leg of the trip. Because 14 hours, you can't really go 14 hours in the car. 10, yeah, you can go 10. 12, maybe you can push it. But 14 is just too much. It's too many hours. So we're going to get down to St. Louis. That's the goal. And as we're driving along, we're feeling that there's some kind of a shaking going on with the vehicle. And I just assumed that it was the spare tire that resides kind of underneath the feet of the driver and the passenger, because that shakes every now and then. I figured maybe it's just a little loose. It's fine. We're not going to stop because we have 10 hours to go, and I'm not going to stop now because the kids are still happy. Like, you stop when you absolutely have to pee or someone throws up. Like, that's the only times you stop if you can so help it, right? So we're driving along, and it's, we're getting into Iowa, and it's starting to shake a little bit more, but we're, it's probably fine. It'll be all right. We'll get there. We'll get down to St. Louis, right? And then it starts shaking more, and then it starts shaking more, and then it starts shaking in a really scary way. So we pull off to the side of the road, and we're like, well, just take a look. Maybe that wheel is really loose underneath there, so we gotta make sure that we, take care of this. So we pull off to the side of the road, and I say, Ben, can you back into that driveway there? It's this little apple orchard next to us. So he's backing into the driveway, he's trying to. We hear this crunch, and we can't drive anymore. And I'm getting a little scared, because I don't know what's happening. Like, I know enough to change a tire and to change the oil in my car, because my dad wouldn't let me get my license to do those 2 things. But I don't know a lot about cars. So I'm thinking, okay, we gotta get the kids focused on something, and then I gotta go and look at what we hit or what we drove over, whatever. So we get them going to the movie, and I walk around the car, which is right next to the highway because we hadn't been able to move it. And staring back at me is this image. It wasn't of the tire being straight up and down connected to the vehicle. It was of the tire at an angle connected to the vehicle with only 1 lug nut. All 4 of the other lug nuts were gone. We had 1 holding the tire onto the vehicle. And I looked at that, I'm like, holy shit, we just about died. That's not very good. And in my head, I start playing through what would have happened if we would have kept driving, where the wheel would have flown off the car, and then we would have rolled, and what would have happened to my kids, and how little it would have mattered that we had the stolen seats, and then we would have had the DVD player, and I was frozen. It doesn't happen to me very often, where I don't know what to do. But it's hard to look at your own almost mortality and be like, wow, this is okay, I guess. So the sound of my kids laughing at something that Woody or Buzz said on the movie kind of brought me back to reality and realizing that I have to deal with this. I can't push this off. It's not like mom and dad can go change the tires. It's something I have to do now. So in kind of this haze, I pull out my phone and I realize that we're in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. We're between Nashua and Ithaca, something like that, just south of Charles City on what they call the Avenue. And I call the first place and I realize it's 4:35 in the afternoon, so I really have to get somebody soon, because otherwise there's nobody open. And I'm gonna have no one to help me. And I get somebody on the phone, and her name is Jenny, and I say, I need some help. I don't know exactly what to do, but I can't drive, and I've got kids in the car, and I need some place to stay tonight. She says, well, we don't have any hotels in our town because we're too small. Well, I suppose you don't have any car rental places either. She says, no. She says, you can ride in our car. I said, we have 3 car seats. So we can't really do that either. And at that point, I just start to cry, because I'm so overwhelmed by all of this. I mean, we could have easily all died. This van that was so trustworthy, had done so many good things for us, this trip we planned so carefully, it's going so wrong. I don't know if we'll make it down to Memphis. I don't know if we'll see the family. So, I start to cry, and she says, Julie, it's going to be fine. Here, give me your phone number. I'll get this figured out. And I was so grateful for her. Within 10 minutes, her husband Steve had been there. He got the truck, or got the tow truck pick us up. She got us a police officer to bring us up 2 towns up where we could get to a hotel. I somehow managed to grab clothing and snacks and toys and whatever else we needed to stay in the hotel that night. I didn't know how long we were going to be in that hotel. I don't know how long it takes to fix a wheel that almost falls off your vehicle. Turns out that the studs had broken off of the vehicle, so there was no way to do it. They had to replace the studs and then put the new lug nuts on. It wasn't an expensive thing to fix, but it was a scary thing to fix. My brother-in-law suggested maybe somebody over-torqued it at one point or something, but it doesn't matter how it happened. What I came away with was, I am incredibly lucky that it shook the way it did, and it happened the way it did, and it cracked the way it did. But the image of that wheel will never leave my head. At the end of the vehicle fixing situation, I was expecting to pay several $100s for getting the tow and then driving the van up to me and the quicker turnaround so we could get back on the road. They only charged me $150. So while they will never see us again, I plan to send them a photo of our family at Christmas time with a very nice, some kind of Christmas present. Because I know without them, I would have been stranded by the side of the road next to an apple orchard in Iowa with no idea what to do because the wheel had literally fallen off of my van. So that's my story about 4 lug nuts.